Assalamu alaikum. My name is Wajahat Ahmed. Today I will discuss about modern politics. Modern politics means that nowadays every country is on the way to progress, and every country wants to become ultimate power and have controls over the other countries. So the first thing for the country which want to become an ultimate power is that it, the progress of country depends upon two things: economy of the country, and the second thing is military or defense. In this modern era, wars are not fought with military. The only way to destroy a country is to destroy its economy. So every country is making its economy stronger. To make economy stronger, many projects are signed between the countries that may prove benefit for that have benefit for both the countries. Some of these types of projects are CPEC, Tapi Pipeline Project, Jakarta Bandung High Speed Rail Project, East Coast Rail Link Project, and Colombo International Financial City Project. So first of all, we will talk about CPEC project. CPEC means that China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. It has significance for development of the region. Potential areas of development of the CPEC include regional connectivity. For regional connectivity such as transport infrastructure, energy hub, logistic hub, trade and commerce between Pakistan and China. And when this project will be completed, then there will be many industries that will be launched uh, on the way of this project, and there will be very financial cooperation, agriculture cooperation, social economic development, tourism included, coastal tourism, and educational link between Pakistan and China. The second one is Tapi Pipeline Project. This project is signed between Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and India pipeline. This is a natural gas pipeline project developed between these four countries with the participation of Asian Development Bank. The pipeline will transport gas from Turkmenistan through Afghanistan into Pakistan and then to India. Construction on the project will start in Turkmenistan on 13 December 2015. And the third one is Jakarta Bandung High Speed Rail. The first lot of this 50 million 50 million rails from Jakarta Bandung High Speed Railway project in Indonesia has arrived at Trackline base. This is 142.3 kilometer long project that connects Indonesian capital city of Jakarta with the textile hub above Bandung. Uh, It also features four halting stations, namely Halim, Karawang, Walini, and along with a depot in Telugu. The third one is East East Coast Rail Link project. This project is signed between China and Malaysia. Malaysia has reportedly accepted a nearly 14% increase in the estimated construction cost of this project. According to report, the project cost was revised to 12.08 billion from the previously decided 10.63 billion. So we can see that many countries are making this project, making projects with other countries that to improve their economy. When these projects will be launched, this project will prove very helpful for both the countries. It will increase the uh, unemployment in the decrease unemployment in the country, and provide facilities to the people of the country. The last one is Colombo International Financial City. This project is started between Sri Lanka and China. It is a special economic zone and international financial center located in Colombo, Sri Lanka, which is currently under construction. It in 2017, the cost was stated to be 15 billion. A project of China, that is project of China's Belt and Road Initiative. In the same way that projects are made, different projects are launched between many countries. There is also another thing to improve the economy of a country, that is trade. So most of the countries are trying to improve their trade between the countries, that could increase their economy. When the economy of the state is stable, it can easily invest on its military and defense, and ultimately it will become an international ultimate power. So from this we can see that most of from this we can see that China is is a maximum the country that is giving maximum its resources to increase its economy is China, and so the China is becoming an economical power of Asia. This is modern politics, that if you have good relations with other countries and you take benefits from them, so that your country proceeds in the way of success. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Murtajiz and Shah. My registration number is SP21-BCS-002, Section A1. The topic of my presentation is modern politics and China. Politics. Politics are the actions or activities concerned with achieving and using power in a country or society. Politics is a way that people living in groups make decisions. Politics is about making agreements between people so that they can live together in groups such as tribes, cities, or countries. Politicians and sometimes other people may get together to form a goal. How do you define politics? Firstly, let me introduce to you to the original meaning of politics. According to Aristotle, politics is a noble activity in which men decide the rules that we live by and the goals they will collectively pursue. This correlates with the definition of the state. State comes into existence originating in the bare needs of life and continues to exist for the sake of good life. If political leaders had stick to this meaning of politics, we would have better governments and better lives. Modern politics. Modern politics means relating to the present time, for example, the present decade or present century, and how China can achieve different goals through modern thinking and policies. The word modern refers to those practices that relate to the industrial mode of production. Here I am going to represent the main difference between the traditional thinking and the modern thinking is the traditional politics and the modern politics or policies of the people. The traditional approaches are mostly legal, institutional, historical, descriptive in nature, while the modern approach is scientific, rational, and analytical. Here I am going to explain that how China leads in various fields and how can become a successful country in the world through its modern world policies. The first one is how China can grow in technology. Technological growth. Science and technology in China have developed rapidly during the 1990s to 2010. The Chinese government placed emphasis to funding, reform, and social status on science and technology as a fundamental part of socio-economic development of the country as well as for national prestige. China has made rapid advances in areas such as education, infrastructure, high-tech manufacturing, academic publishing, patents, and commercial applications, and is now in some areas and by some sources and measures a world leader. Chinese industries are not only getting closer to the technological frontier in conventional areas such as electronic machinery, mobiles, high-speed railways, and aviation, but also driving technological innovations in emerging areas such as renewable energy, advanced nuclear energy, next-generation telecommunication technologies, big data and supercomputers, air robotics, space technology, and e-commerce sector. In the 19th and 20th century, the introduction of Western technology was a major factor in the modernization of China. This is how China can become a successful country in the technological ground. The second point is how China can become successful in medical field. Over the past 2 decades, significant progress has been made in improving a healthcare system and people's health conditions in China. Following rapid economic growth and social development, Chinese healthcare system is facing new challenges such as increased healthcare demands and expenditure, inefficient use of healthcare resources, unsatisfying implementation of disease management guidelines, and inadequate healthcare insurance. Facing these challenges, the Chinese government carried out a national healthcare reform in 2009. A series of policies were developed and implemented to improve the healthcare insurance systems, the medical care system, the public health service system, the pharmaceutical supply system, and the healthcare institution management system in China. Although these measures have shown promising results, further efforts are needed to achieve the ultimate goal of providing affordable and high quality care for both urban and rural residents of China. China's economic growth. China's economy has enjoyed 30 years of explosive growth, making it the world's largest. Its success was based on a mixed economy that incorporated limited capitalism within a command economy. The Chinese government's spending has been a significant driver of its growth. Only 3.3% of the population lives below the poverty line. China contains about 20% of the world population. Growth is making China a world economic leader. China is how China is now the world's biggest producer of aluminum and steel. Chinese tech companies quickly became market leaders. Huawei is the world's top telecommunications equipment maker. It is quickly becoming a world leader in developing 5G technology. Lenovo is a world-class maker of personal computers. Xiaomi is one of the China's top smartphone brands. The next point is Chinese military modernization. Once primarily a personal, heavy, and ill-equipped land army, the Chinese military has overhauled itself a force capable of fighting on land and sea and the air and space as well in the cyber domain. Its cutting-edge equipment is increasingly supplied by a Chinese defense industry that has itself become a successful global player. The next point is foreign policy and the Belt and Road Initiative. China has a long history of trade and investment in the developing world. As much as any other single development, China's rise over the past 2 decades has remade the landscape of global politics. Beginning with its entry into the World Trade Organization in December 2001, China rapidly transformed its economy from a low-cost factory to the world to a global leader in advanced technologies and its world relationships. This is how, through modern politics and modern views about world and how to deal with it, not through the traditional way, one country can become successful in their every field of life. Thank you. My presentation is
Assalamu alaikum to all. My name is Jamil and my registration number is SP21-BCS-009 and I am from BCS-A1. Today my topic is modern politics and America. So today's modern America is one of the greatest powers in human history. So how did they become that great? To know that we have to go back in the history, the time when America wasn't a world leader by any means. They used modern politics to get where they are now. The country expanded to the North America and Pacific Ocean in the 17th century. After the Civil War, there was a difference of opinion among the Americans that whether they go on expanding or not. Finally, it was decided that they should expand. That was later proved to be a better decision. America expanded to Alaska, Hawaii, Wake Island, Philippines, and Panama Canals. After this expansion, America came as a leading power of the world. America was growing international at that time using their influence to protect their benefit like their role of international diplomacy regarding China. World War saw how much American were powerful at that time. During the World War One, America's participation was decisive in the result. Later in 1970, that was American president who initiated peace talks. After the World War One, America didn't challenge the rise of Hitler, but on the other side, the Japanese were a real threat for them. So that started World War Two. World War Two completely changed America's position in the world. America was the only country that had nuclear weapon at that time. So they created United Nations to prevent any other war. During this time, America also made IMF and World bank that got America deeply indulged in the global affairs. But there was a major threat for USA at that time, and that was Soviet Union. But America tackled it pretty well by forming NATO, and that intervened the Soviet Union expansion. Now we will move on to economy. In this modern world, without stronger economy, you are basically nothing. America's economy is one of world's best economy from decades now. We can see the growth in the graph. It is believed that America contributed one quarter to the world economy at the present. This big achievement had a number of reasons. The USA from the start focused on international affairs, so they could fight with their global enemies. So in 2019, the average per capita income of America was 66,000 US dollar, which was higher from Germany and China. So that initiated peace in this country, so that America could fight with their global enemies. Now we will move on to foreign aids. Uh, America spends over $39 billion in foreign aid every year. If we see this table, we will come to know that all of these countries are underdeveloped or developing. So America give them money and they actually rob them. They rob their reserves. The classic example of this is Africa. So now we will move on to influence that America had made using modern politics. And the First of all, I will like to explain what Americanization is. This is a prime example of modern politics by America. America has spread this phenomenon of Americanization. Basically, Americanization is the influence of American culture and business on other countries outside United States. Americanization basically states that America is far superior to other. This concept was more relevant after the end of Soviet Union. Mm, this is a major concern for Europe, where the American companies like Google, Facebook, Twitter, etc. is giving fire to Americanization, and European Union is concerned about it. American film industry is playing major role in portraying the modern political view of Americans. America is changing the reality of history by demolishing history in their films. One of the prime example is that after the World War II, the U.S. government played an important role in restructuring the media in those countries to promote democracy. Another example is the American newspaper that is based in Germany that was used to destroy the anti-Nazi culture. That is it from my side. Thank you.
Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Starting with the name of Holy Allah, the most beneficent and merciful. My name is Abdurrahman Wazir from SP21 BCS-015. Today my topic is modern politics of Africa. First of all, we know that what is politics. Politics is the way that people living in group make decision. Politics is about making agreement between people so that they can live together in groups such as tribes, cities, or countries. In large groups such as countries, some people may spend a lot of their time making such agreement. These people are called politician, and sometimes other people may get together to form a government. The study of politics is so the government tries to lead the whole group. Government do things such as decide which people get which piece of land, decide which people can tell other people what to do, decide whether to go to war with another country, create money, build things for the use of the whole group such as road, hospital, library and dogs, educate people either for their own good or to teach them what the agreement want them to know, take care of the very young, the sick, or the very old, manage the welfare of the country, and manage the money available for spending on services. So Today my topic is Africa. So conventionally there are five main geographical region or sub-region in Africa. That is North Africa, West Africa, Central Africa, East Africa, Southern Africa. Africa is the second largest continent in the world in both area and population. It is almost entirely isolated landmass with only a small land bridge in the northeast connecting the African mainland with Western Asia. 48 countries share the area of mainland Africa plus 6 island nations are considered to be a part of the continent. All in all, there are 54 sovereign African countries and two disputed areas, namely Somaliland and Western Sahara. So, my first slide is why Africa. Africa is a vital world region. Some of the fastest growing economies in the world are in Africa, a continent of thousands of languages and cultures, unparalleled eco-diversity, and over a billion vibrant and innovative Africans. The relevance of Africa issue is apparent in our everyday life. We use African export or mineral resources sometime unknowingly. The coltan in our cell phone is only one example. Studying African and current event give us deeper understanding of world history and even modern American history. For instance, the relation between the United States and African predate American independence. The profit for the transatlantic slave trade helped jump-start or industrial revolution, while the labor or enslaved African and their descendants laid the economic foundation of the region. Right now, African immigrants are establishing more and more communities in America, thus enriching our American culture, which put the study of African issues and culture at our front doorstep. African studies are important to students who want to understand the neighbor and themselves. You go better inform your Africa. So next, African political economy. African political economy is a field of study within political science that analyzes the relationship between the state and the market in Africa. This field is generally geographically delimited to include only sub-Saharan African. The major preoccupation of scholarship in this discipline has been analyzing the role of the state in promoting economic growth and poverty alleviation. The failure of state-led development. A sub-Saharan African country gained independence primarily in the 1950s and 1960s. Policy maker and scholar alike emphasized the importance of the state in driving development in the new African country due to the weakness of the indigenous capitalist classes in their country. It was assumed the state would lead the development process. African political thought. That modern African political thought referred to the political theories and ideologies and initiated in the speeches, autobiographies, writing, and policy statement of African statesmen and scholar. It varies according to historical circumstances and constantly changing African and world political environment. Political theory and political practice are inextricably linked, which make for six distinctive periods of African history, each with its own dominant theories: indigenous African, imperial Africa, colonial Africa, and early and middle late modern Africa. So, uh, in uh, African political economy is a field of study within political science that analyzes the relationship between the state and the market in Africa. In both socialist countries like Tanzania and more market-oriented countries like Nigeria, their state subsidized industries, manipulated exchange rate, and restricted international trade with the goal of encouraging industrialization. However, by the early 19th century, the failure of the prevailing development strategy had become clear. Most countries in Africa are experiencing a decline in growth rate and erosion of per capita income and an increase in external debt. A World Bank investigation into the economic crisis laid the blame squarely on the invested protectionist policies adopted by African government. The publication, which became known as the Berg Report, World Bank 1981, argued that these policies had undermined the functioning of the market and had created bloated public sector. The major puzzle motivating academic research is why African government had not abandoned these interventionist policies when it became obvious they were not stimulating growth. The key insight of the political economy literature of the government often secured political gain from economics mismanagement. In the response, the recommendation of the Bud report, the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund decided to make future loan to African government conditional on a reduction in state intervention in the economy. A structural adjustment program countries were required to adopt in return for new loan involved cutting the fiscal devalue exchange rate and liberalizing trade policy. The, no, this is the end of my presentation.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Muhammad Umair and my registration number is SP21-BCS-003 section A1. Today my topic name is Modern Politics and Pakistan. Now I will discuss about you technology precaution of changing political landscape. Meanwhile, the internet era gave us rise to a paradox. Modern technology has given citizens more autonomy and more knowledge than ever before, but leaves them feeling less in control of their lives, drowning in a sea of often conflicting information and disinformation. Modern politics more exclusive. People are connecting due to social media. Political parties have changed their previous strategy of staging massive campaigning on street and moved toward political campaigns on social media, which allow politics to be more inclusive and less inclusive for masses. Politics and open source. We explore many aspects about the intersection of technology and politics. The one thing that all of these topics have in common is passion. Citizens have strong opinion but about the role of technology in our lives. So it no wonder that political actors and organizations incorporate it into their campaign strategies and platform accordingly. This same opinion about the role of technology come into play at occasion. Thanks to our strong commitment to the open source community, which is built on a philosophy of collaboration, access, and diversity. Modern politics and propaganda. Technology has allowed people in Pakistan to be more vocal about their rights, plus governments in Pakistan in the past have heavily controlled media, which allow very few people to control street narrative, but now with social media propaganda need to more refined in order to work, which made political forces in the country to be more facts oriented even if they are exaggerated to make political space. And the conclusions are technology and politics have always been connected dating as far back as the Industrial Revolution, which led to some of the most seminal issues in America history, such as labor protections, but in recent years they have become more or less inseparable. You can't engage in politics without engaging in technology, and you can't use technology whether you are tech binary consumer of digital media as avoid Twitter without engaging in politics. Thank you so much.